Today, we are recapping two movies from the Charlie's Angels series, Charlie's Angels from 2000 and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle from 2003. Now, let's dive into the first movie. The movie begins with a high-energy, action-packed sequence aboard an international flight. The scene features a hijacked airplane with a bomb on board and a group of terrorists controlling the passengers. A mysterious passenger is disguised and later revealed to be Bosley. Suddenly, one of the angels, Alex, makes a dramatic entrance by skydiving onto the plane. She infiltrates the plane and fights off the terrorists. Then, the other angels, Natalie and Dylan, appear in disguise. Together, they take down the hijackers and disarm the bomb in a series of well-coordinated acrobatic fight scenes. Dylan was woken up by Chad, who suggested they have breakfast together. However, she received a call and was summoned for a mission. Quickly, she left the boat they were on and departed. Meanwhile, Natalie was performing a dance routine to an enthusiastic audience. The scene then transitions to her waking up at home. She got out of bed and continued dancing until the doorbell rang. Answering it, she found a delivery guy with a package. After taking the package, she went inside and received a call instructing her to come in. At the same time, Alex was at home with her boyfriend when she also received a call, summoning her for a mission. The three women gathered in a room and started playfully throwing muffins at each other. Bosley entered, sat between them, and offered some friendly advice. Then, the phone rang. Bosley answered, and it was Charlie, who greeted the women and briefed them on their next mission. He informed them about Eric Knox, a brilliant engineer and founder of Knox Technologies, who had been kidnapped along with his voice identification software. Charlie also mentioned Vivian Wood, the president of Knox Technologies. As they were talking, Vivian entered the room. Bosley introduced her, explaining that she was their new client, who had hired them to find Eric Knox. Dylan asked who would have the most to gain from Knox's disappearance, and Vivian admitted that, as his partner and friend, it could be her. Natalie inquired if Knox had any enemies, and Charlie mentioned Roger Corwin, the owner of Red Star, the largest communications satellite firm. Bosley explained that Corwin had tried to buy Knox Technologies 6 months ago, and when Knox refused to sell, Corwin had lost his temper. Alex asked if there had been a ransom demand, and Vivian said there was still nothing, but she knew Knox was still alive. Natalie then volunteered to study the garage footage for clues. Charlie pointed out that Corwin was their best lead and suggested that their best chance to gather information would be during Corwin's weekly massage, Madame Wong's House of Blossoms. As planned, Alex met Corwin at the massage house and, under the guise of massaging him, rendered him unconscious by applying pressure to his neck. The team then accessed the locker room, taking what they needed. By the time Corwin woke up, Alex was back to massaging him, as if nothing had happened. Later that night, the Angels attended a party with Bosley. Equipped with earpieces and microphones, they maintained communication throughout. Bosley approached Roger and introduced himself, following Natalie's introduction, to get him to talk about Knox. Meanwhile, Alex spotted a man they had identified from earlier pictures and alerted the others. However, the man noticed them and escaped before they could reach him. The Angels quickly changed their outfits and pursued the man. During the chase, he started shooting at them, but soon ran out of bullets. The Angels engaged in a fierce fight with him, but he proved to be exceptionally strong. Despite their efforts, the man managed to flee, and the Angels lost track of him. Continuing their search, found Knox tied up in a room. Charlie appreciated their work. Dylan asked Knox what was so special about his software, and Knox began to explain its significance. He described how the program they developed could map the unique signature of every person's voice, much like a snowflake. Vivian interrupted to add that it involved audio DNA, making it impossible to disguise or scramble a voice signal. Charlie noted that this was why Corwin wanted the software, and Natalie pointed out that with Red Star satellites, which had global positioning systems, any cell phone could become a homing device, eliminating any chance of hiding. Vivian highlighted the dangers of such technology falling into the wrong hands, emphasizing the potential end of privacy. Charlie then briefed the Angels on their next mission. Corwin would be premiering his Red Star racer at the California Speedway, presenting the perfect opportunity to plant a hidden camera on him. The Angels infiltrated the race. Dylan distracted the driver, while Alex planted the cameras. Meanwhile, Natalie spotted the man they had been chasing. He got into one of the race cars, and Natalie quickly followed suit. They ended up facing each other in a high-speed chase, which culminated in the man driving off a bridge, along with his car. Charlie then briefed them, noting that the micro cameras had provided valuable insights into Red Star's layout. The Angels discussed their findings. The mainframe, where Knox's software was likely stored, was secured behind a door with incredible security measures, restricted access, fingerprint identification, and and a retinal scanner. They explained that only 2 Red Star directors could access the mainframe, requiring synchronized entrance. A gelatin scanning plate took exact fingerprints, and a laser-accurate .009mm scanned the retina. The entrance was only accessible through a monitored, airless antechamber. The Angels determined that there was only one way to get through undetected: by being invisible. The floor was rigged with pressure sensitivity, and any contact exceeding 0.25 seconds would trigger the alarm. Vivian commented that it sounded impossible, but to the Angels, it sounded like fun. The Angels then went to Red Star headquarters, fooled the security team, and planted a device in the central computer that will enable them to explore it remotely. Vivian asked for evidence of Knox's technology software in the Red Star system. The Angels explained that Bosley had the data on his laptop with a direct link to Red Star mainframe. Vivian suggested they should conduct their own analysis, but the Angels insisted it would be unethical to access Red Star systems directly. They assured her that if they found proof, they would inform her. Later that night, Dylan accepted Knox's offer to spend the night with him, and they ended up being intimate. Natalie went to a club with Pete and was invited to dance on stage. Meanwhile, Vivian approached Bosley and attempted to kiss him, but he told her they should keep their relationship professional. The Thin Man, the person the Angels have been chasing, went to Roger and killed him. Simultaneously, attacks were launched on Natalie and Alex. Bosley was captured by Vivian, and Corwin was murdered by the Thin Man. Natalie called Dylan to warn her about Knox. As Dylan was about to inform Knox, she saw Vivian sitting nearby. Knox then revealed to Dylan that his kidnapping was a ruse to get the Angels to help him to access Red Star satellite network. He planned to use the network, along with the voice recognition software, to find and kill Charlie, whom Knox believed had killed his father during the Vietnam War. Knox then shot at Dylan, but she used the opportunity to escape by falling backward out of a window. She reunited with Natalie and Alex, who had also survived their attacks. They approached Charlie's office just as the building exploded. Meanwhile, Bosley, trapped and bored in a room, realized he had a radio transmitter in his teeth. He used it to send a message, and the Angels found a radio receiver that allowed them to communicate with him via the tooth-implanted transmitter. Bosley provided enough information about his location for Natalie to deduce that he was being held in an abandoned lighthouse. With help from Dylan's boyfriend, Chad, the Angels stealthily approached the lighthouse. They jumped out of the boat and swam to shore, infiltrating the lighthouse. Upon finding Knox, Dylan was captured by his henchmen, tied up, and gagged. Vivian saw Natalie through the security camera. Natalie went to rescue Bosley, but was attacked by Knox's henchmen, whom she defeated. Seeing this, Vivian decided to intervene personally. Charlie called Bosley's phone, and Knox picked it up, trying to keep Charlie on the line to track his location. Meanwhile, Natalie fought Vivian, and Alex battled the Thin Man. After Knox left to pursue Charlie, Dylan managed to free himself and defeat her captors. The Angels fought off their enemies, including Vivian and the Thin Man, but Knox blew up the lighthouse and flew off in an attack helicopter towards Charlie's house. Bosley helped the Angels board the helicopter. Dylan fought Knox, while Alex reprogrammed the missile, causing it to shoot backwards, blowing up the helicopter and killing Knox, while the Angels landed safely. Seizing the opportunity to finally meet Charlie in person, they entered the nearby beach house that Knox had targeted, only to find he had already left. Charlie remotely congratulated the Angels on a job well done through another speaker and treated them and Bosley to a vacation. He also revealed that Knox's father was an undercover double agent who was discovered and killed by the enemy, not by Charlie. While speaking to the Angels by telephone on the beach, they asked if they could ever meet him in person. Dylan suspected she saw him nearby talking into a cell phone, but chose not to tell the group, instead raising a toast to Charlie. Bosley playfully doused the Angels with his drink, and they chased him towards the ocean. The movie concludes as from afar, a silhouetted Charlie watched them. Now, we are going to start the second part of the series, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. The movie begins with the 3 Angels, Natalie, Dylan, and Alex, embarking on a high-octane mission in Mongolia. They infiltrate a remote bar where a U.S. Marshal is being held captive. The Angels utilize their combat skills, disguises, and teamwork to rescue him. As they make their escape with the Marshal, they are attacked attacked from behind. In the ensuing chaos, they crash and fall off a bridge along with a helicopter and car. In a thrilling moment, Natalie manages to start the helicopter just in time, and they all manage to survive the dramatic fall. The angels are in their house, dancing and having fun. As they giggle, Pete brings a letter and tells Natalie that they received their first mail, which is an invitation to Pete's reunion. Meanwhile, Alex steps out to bring more things in as Natalie prepares to move in with Pete. Jason comes from behind and scares her, prompting her to pull him to the ground by his hand. Pete then joins them. However, the angels receive a call and head out to meet Bosley, who is a new addition to the team. They explain his role to him before talking to Charlie. Charlie briefs them on their new mission via speakerphone. He explains the Federal Witness Protection Program, where the identities of witnesses are protected by the HALO, Hidden Alias List Operation Program. The identities are encrypted on 2 titanium rings. Each ring's data is indecipherable on its own, but together, their codes unlock each other. One ring was worn by the head of the U.S. Marshal Service, Ray Carter, who has a couple of fractured ribs, but is alive. The other ring was worn by the head of security for the Justice Department, William Rose Bailey, who was killed that morning. Now, both rings are in the open, and someone has contacted major crime families, offering to sell the list. These crime families include the Antonioni crime family, the Tanaka Yakuza, the Diablo Cartel, and the Seamus clan. A protected witness, Alan Caulfield, was found dead at home in the valley. Charlie tasks the angels with retrieving the halo rings before the list is sold. They decide to start at the Caulfield house to see if it leads them to Halo. The angels are sent to investigate the crime scene. Natalie, Alex, and Dylan head over in their classic disguises to gather more information. Bosley joins them, but doesn't uncover much. By performing a quick and clever examination of the body, the angels determine that the killer is a surfer with a scar on his knee. With this new lead, their next destination is, naturally, the beach. Before heading to the beach, the angels make a quick visit to Alex's dad, who has dropped in unannounced at her place. Alex is pretending to be a renowned neurosurgeon, concealing her real job from her dad. She fabricates a story about Natalie and Dylan, claiming they are also her colleagues at the hospital. This brief encounter adds a humorous and personal touch to their mission before they continue their investigation. Upon arriving at the beach, Natalie blends in by posing as a surfer, where she meets former angel Madison Lee, while Alex and Dylan disguise themselves as ice cream vendors. They keep a close watch on the surroundings, searching for their suspect. Dylan's unique attraction to a certain type of man helps them quickly identify the target. They discover that the man's name is Randy Emmers and learn that he plans to attend a motocross event in the next few days. A few days later, the angels arrive at the motocross event. Dylan, still worried about the future, takes the chance to ask Natalie if her boyfriend is planning to propose, hoping to gauge if Natalie might leave the team. Fortunately, it seems Natalie has no such plans. During the Coal Bowl motorcycle race, Emmers targets another witness, Max Petroni. The angels attempt to intervene. Natalie gears up in her motocross outfit to compete with Emmers, but he manages to cause chaos and knock everyone down. The angels chase Emmers as he continuously shoots at them, but just as it seems he might escape, the Thin Man appears and kills Emmers to protect Max. Investigating the aftermath, the angels realize that several of the downed men are also involved in the witness protection program. Fortunately, Max Petroni survives and was apparently Emmers' next target. In Emmers' pocket, the angels find photos of Caulfield, Max, and, to their surprise, Dylan under her birth name, Helen Zass. Armed with this new information, they return to their office. Dylan, whose real name is Helen Zass, shares her story with the team, Charlie and Bosley. She explains that she has a tendency to fall for a certain type of guy, but her last relationship was a nightmare. She was involved with Seamus, the head of the Seamus Irish mob. Unaware of his criminal activities at first, Dylan was horrified when Seamus killed someone right in front of her. Despite his threats on her life if she spoke out, Dylan bravely reported him to the police, resulting in his imprisonment. This act of courage put Dylan in the witness protection program, as Seamus vowed revenge. The Seamus clan also murdered Max Petroni's parents, further entwining their lives in this dangerous web. As Max previously testified against Seamus, he is sent to the home of Bosley's mother for protection. The angels deduce that the Seamuses currently hold the rings, with the Thin Man somehow entangled in the situation. location. Their investigation reveals that the Thin Man spent most of his youth in a convent, and even the nuns who raised him are unaware of his real name. The nuns proudly display a new vehicle they received as a gift from the Thin Man, which the angels quickly recognize as Emmers's car. Natalie inspects the vehicle closely and discovers a clue linking it to the California Gull, directing them to the San Pedro harbor. With this lead, the angels prepare for their next move, determined to retrieve the rings and unravel the full extent of the conspiracy. Jason meets Alex's father at her house, and an awkward introduction ensues. Alex's father is surprised to find Jason there and questions who he is. Jason explains that he is an actor, possibly known from the movie Maximum Extreme, though Alex's father hasn't seen it. Jason mentions he is Alex's boyfriend, though they are currently on a timeout, a term that confuses Alex's father. Jason goes on to commend Alex's father for being so understanding, given all the adventurous things Alex does. He recalls that when he first met Alex, he mistakenly thought she was a bikini waxer, and it took months before he learned about her connection to Charlie, leaving Alex's father puzzled about who Charlie is. The angels perform a seductive dance at a strip club, successfully stealing keys and papers to gain access to their target location. They quickly identify the exact location and stealthily break into the facility. Using not-so-discreet explosives, they bypass various locks and finally retrieve the valuable titanium rings with the encrypted information. Their celebration is short-lived, as Seamus, Dylan's dangerous ex-boyfriend, appears. Seamus taunts Dylan, addressing her by her real name, Helen, and revealing he has been waiting for her for 8 years. He demands the return of the rings. A fierce fight ensues, with the angels using a ring of fire to protect themselves from Seamus's aggressive attacks. After a tough battle, they manage to reclaim the rings and temporarily distance themselves from Seamus, ensuring they have the valuable information safe. For now, Seamus promises the angels a world of pain before they manage to escape. Meanwhile, back at Alex's house, her boyfriend Jason inadvertently reveals her real identity to her father, who mistakenly believes she is involved in prostitution. Alex, initially embarrassed, passionately clarifies that her true work allows her to help people in ways that bring her fulfillment and pride. She explains her role as an angel, highlighting the positive impact she has on the world. This revelation leaves her father surprised because of the misunderstanding that was caused by Jason, but gradually more understanding and supportive of her unconventional career. Natalie attends her boyfriend Pete Kominsky's high school reunion at Hermosa Beach, enjoying a dance together. Pete starts to speak seriously, hinting that he has something important on his mind. He mentions how they recently moved in together and acknowledges their decision to take things slowly. As he builds up to his question, Natalie senses the gravity of the moment. To lighten the mood and create a distraction, she playfully requests a twirl, and Pete obliges, temporarily shifting the focus away from his impending question. Realizing her dangerous ex-boyfriend Seamus is after her, Dylan decides to leave the angels, hoping her departure will keep her friends safe. The next day at the office, Natalie and Alex are heartbroken to find Dylan gone. When Natalie, Bosley, and Alex notice the letter she left for them, they realize that Dylan fled to protect them. They turn to Charlie for guidance, feeling lost without her. Charlie tries to lift their spirits, reminding them to stay strong. Natalie and Alex urgently seek information about the Seamuses and how Seamus managed to get out of prison. To their shock, Charlie reveals that Seamus didn't break out. He was released. The revelation leaves them stunned as they ponder who could have the power to orchestrate such a release, suggesting influential figures like Joni Cochran, the Justice Department, the DA's office, the FBI, or the US Marshal could be involved. The angels and Bosley return the rings to Carter, the guy with the broken ribs from earlier. However, Natalie and Alex deduce that Carter is the one who let Seamus out of prison after seeing him return Bosley's keys without any pain, despite claiming to have broken his ribs beforehand. Determined not to let Seamus slip away, Natalie and Alex embark on a high-speed chase. They cleverly hack into the car's phone line and overhear him reporting to someone else, revealing that he is not the main antagonist. Realizing that they need to act quickly, they find out that Carter and his boss are planning to send the encrypted list within the ring that very night. Meanwhile, Dylan, heartbroken and feeling responsible for the danger surrounding her friends, heads to a local bar to drown her sorrows. To her surprise, she encounters one of the original angels. This veteran encourages Dylan, reminding her of her strength and why she was chosen to be an angel in the first place. Reinvigorated, Dylan decides it's time to return home. Natalie and Alex trace the person Carter reported to and discovered it is Madison Lee. As they approach, Madison suddenly shoots Carter. Dylan arrives just in time to confront Madison, but is quickly overpowered. forward. Madison shoots at the Angels and steals the rings, believing she has won. Back at their base, Charlie reprimands Madison over the speaker for her actions, emphasizing the danger she has put her former teammates in. Furious at the lack of recognition she feels she deserves, Madison destroys Charlie's speaker in a fit of anger. Thankfully, the Angels survive the confrontation thanks to their Kevlar vests. They realize Madison plans to sell the rings to several crime syndicates, including the Seamus crime family, the Antonioni Mafia, the Tanaka Yakuza, and the Diablo Cartel at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where Jason's film premiere is set to occur. The Angels coordinate with the FBI to arrest the potential buyers and prepare for a final showdown with Madison. As they confront her, Seamus arrives, escalating the situation to a fierce battle. The Thin Man appears, aiding the Angels by helping Alex and rescuing Dylan from Seamus's grasp. He engages in a brutal fight with Seamus, ultimately kicking him off the roof. In a surprising turn, the Thin Man and Dylan share a kiss before Seamus reappears and stabs the Thin Man, causing him to fall. Seamus nearly succeeds in killing Dylan, but she blinds him, causing him to lose his footing and fall. Seamus attempts to get back up, but is stopped by the Thin Man, who has survived the fall. In the chaos, Dylan accidentally knocks over the large E sign from the Hollywood sign, which crashes down on Seamus, finally neutralizing him. The Angels then pursue Madison to stop her once and for all. Natalie catches up to her, leading to an intense final showdown. Their fight carries them into an abandoned theater, where the Angels manage to kick Madison into a chamber filled with gas. In a reckless move, Madison fires her gun, triggering an explosion that ends her threat permanently. The Angels attend the film premiere, celebrating their victory and survival. They receive the heartwarming news that Mama Bosley is adopting Max. Peter surprises Natalie by asking her to get a puppy, revealing this as the big question he had been planning to ask her all along. Alex reconciles with Jason, ending their time out. Together with Bosley, the Angels celebrate their success, strengthened bonds, and the conclusion of their challenging mission. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.